How big was that victory for your program against Florida, considering that since you've been at A&M, you really haven't had one of those big-time top 5 type wins?
No, our problem is we played 1 and 2 about 5 times.
That's true.
We beat a couple 5 top 10s, but just, it was a good win. And how it was done, I mean, that's the main thing, and understand the perseverance of how to play in a competitive game and the ebbs and flows of it, and just keep playing the next play. And listen, you realize you're playing a great opponent. They're going to make plays. You got to line up and make another play, and then you got, at the end of the day, find a way to put your will on them. And we were able to make one more play than they did. And how it went about was as important as not just who we beat, but how we beat them, I think, is a big factor and keep developing the program.
How much confidence do you think that them young men got after that big victory?
I think they got a lot. I hope, like I said the other day when we got first thing I hit the meeting on Monday, why did you have confidence now, and why did you have success? Having confidence and success is one thing, but having confidence and success because of how you prepared, how you played, how you thought, how the amount of film you watched, I think the process of putting yourself in that position is much more or as important as having success in that situation so you can repeat it the next week. So hopefully we can prepare the same way this week no matter who we play and go back and play well again.
Coach Fisher, Jay Williams here. It seems like that time I came down to speak with you and your team, it feels like 30 years ago with this pandemic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does, buddy. It sure does.
I wanted to ask you, man, obviously Dan Mullins made some statements the other day about playing with 90,000 people in stadiums. What are your thoughts on that, and how we should be moving forward as it relates to stadiums?
I'm gonna not be an expert at that. I got enough problems with what I'm supposed to be an expert at. I'm gonna let the medical people do that. But that's whatever is the safest for the people and our kids and whatever's going on. I mean, you got to think that way. I don't care what you say and how competitive we are. It's still the kids' safety, the people's safety, and what goes on. I don't know the answer to that question because I mean all I get is the reports from the medical people, which sometimes change weekly. So I'm trying to just hang on and try to stay with the protocols to keep our guys safe. I mean, I love having people there. I mean, we had 22% of people there is all we had. And it was a good fan base. It was better than nothing. And, I hate it for all the people. But at the same time, safety has got to be the number one issue in which we evolve into what we're doing.
Coach, how do you even adjust to that? It feels like it's something that changes hour by hour.
Oh, Lord. It does, Jay. I mean, you think you said these guys. And I was the first 2 or 3 months, I mean, every day I was on, and I said, listen, just tell me what you think we should do and how we do it. And then you tell the kids, listen, guys, there's going to be changes. I can't tell you why. It's just that we're in a different time. And I think you explain it to your kids, you explain it to everybody involved, so you keep the frustration down. And people, and the kids and the players and everybody do get frustrated. But like I tell them, guys, we're in an unprecedented time, so we got to have patience. There's a new normal that goes on, and just accept what happens and just have faith that the people who are giving you the rules have your best interest at heart, and you have to live by them. That's the only way you can do it.
Having been in the SEC as an assistant coach, back now as a head coach, how difficult has it been to be able to recruit against the other powerhouses within the SEC?
We have a lot of resources there at A&M as far as facilities and what we have. We've recruited. We've had 2 top 5 classes in a row the last 2 classes. We've been 5, I think 4, 3, and 6, and we've been able to do it. But it is a huge challenge. I mean, recruiting down here is serious business. And you got to have a product to sell. You got to have a future to sell. You got to have a vision to sell, and they got to be able to see it. And we've done well. That's what's got me excited about our football team. Our football team, our last 2 classes, man, there's a lot of really good young players. And not that our older players are really good too and are developing, but as a group, our bottom 2 classes, we have a chance to really, really evolve here in the future, in my opinion, and be able to stand. Because no matter how many good players you get down here, everybody's got good players.
Jimbo Fisher,
but you got to be able to stay toe to toe adequately together to be able to play with them, and I really believe we're heading in that definite right direction.
Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M head coach, 2013 national champion with Florida State, joining us here on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Now the fun part. You take a look around the SEC. There's 2 funny bunnies that's running around, and Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss and Mike Leach at Mississippi State. Has it been fun watching them in the SEC, Coach?
I haven't had time. I wish I did have time to watch them. I haven't got to see them, but they're great personalities. And anytime you got personality in a room, it's great. They're good coaches. We play Mike this week. Mike's a great offensive mind. Defensively, they're playing off the charts right now. We're one of the top teams in all the country in defense, and so it's going to be a huge challenge. They're good coaches. They're fun personalities, so it's great to have them.
Jimbo, every time I've been around you, you're a no-nonsense type of coach and person. Yeah. You were pretty critical of the officiating after last game. Why has that been something you've been frustrated about?
Well, I mean, that was just a couple calls that I just trying to get verification on. Listen, officials going to miss calls. But I think we have to be able to point that out in critical situations and things that go on. And we can agree to disagree or whatever it is. But I think those are things that affect games as much as anything, too, and how things are done. And I'm not saying they do it ill will. I'm not saying we just got to make sure we understand how we're calling things and the way we call things. And listen, our guys do a great job. Our officials do a great job. And my critical point was and as you watch film when you come back, and it's just amazing how you don't realize in certain key points of games how calls can affect games when they're tied up, when they're early, and the ebbs and flows and momentums. And I think when you're building a program, you got to fight for it and scratch for every inch. And I remember this. I remember when your old coach, Mike Krzyzewski, first started Duke. Those first 4 or 5 years, they struggled. I remember when he was first there building the program, and I remember him making comments, that, hey, things don't always, we got to fight and scratch and get calls in this league too. And I remember him saying them in press conferences in the mid-'80s that we have to get the amount of tough calls that go everywhere else. And I'm not saying that anything like that. I just think you got to fight and scratch and call for every inch, because the difference in our league football-wise, man, they're inches, and plays can make a difference. And how to teach our players. What are we going to do? What we're not going to do? And I'm not unhappy with any of them. I don't want to try to make sure we're doing things and how I understand that things are going to be done.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.